because I've never used this before. So I'll pop over to Facebook real quick and just see how it's working.
Oh, yeah.
If it's working. People can be like, what the hell is he doing? Talking to himself. All right. Looks like we're all good. Sweet.
Yeah, are we streaming?
I believe so. Yes. So I'm going to add your name into the post just so it tags you and then be good to go.
Sounds good to me.
If I can figure out what I'm doing.
Technology's hard.
Yeah, I like the system, though. It's pretty cool. Or this program, at least. It seems pretty easy. I think I'm going to be able to get the hang of it pretty quick.
Well, that's good.
All right. Pull up our YouTube tab.
I like the Master Zhang's Taekwondo ad on your YouTube feed.
Did you like that one? I didn't see it. Where was it?
If you go back to the previous screen, the one that we had just a bit ago, I don't know how you...
Stephen Gladhill?
Yeah, it was one of the ads that was on the side. I guess it went away now.
I missed it. Bummer. All right, let's get into this match here. All right, so for people that don't know, Shawn is the current and most recent 170-pound champion for Subspectrum. He won it back in November of 2019. I think that was your third try at a Subspectrum title. Is that correct?
Yeah, third time was the charm.
Yeah, so
you've been out here. I was saying to you afterwards, I'm like, hey, if I win one more, I might break even on these.
Pay for the flights and that's it, pretty much.
Pretty much.
And your $30 hotel or whatever, or your rental car that I know you slept in or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, that was the first time that I slept in the SUV. That was nice. That was nice. I drove that out to the middle of nowhere. And I sat and watched the stars and saw what's his name? The old cowboy western film star.
John Wayne?
John Wayne. I saw his house growing up. I just randomly came upon it driving around in the middle of nowhere, Iowa.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask where you ended up, so I'm glad that you actually had a landmark point to. Yeah, out in Winterset, there's the Bridges of Madison County, which is a old Clint Eastwood film that was filmed out there, and then it's also the same area where John Wayne was born. So a lot of little history there. I think they actually filmed parts of the movie Twister down there too, because it's a really common area for tornadoes. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's a really old, bad tornado movie, but
I've seen Twister 100 times.
Have you? Okay.
I had the VHS when I was a kid. Have you ever seen a tornado?
In the distance, yeah. It wasn't real close to us, but you could see the funnel cloud. It was probably 3 or 4 miles off in the distance. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Something that's kind of eye-opening to be holy shit, the Earth is capable of that. I've obviously never experienced a hurricane or anything like that because we're in Iowa, but a twister or a tornado is pretty significant.
Yeah, I saw 2 tornadoes when we were driving through Montana one time, and one was a couple miles to our left driving through this road, and the other one was a couple miles to our right. It was just wow. I'm super glad those are really far away.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm going to jump into these matches. I think what we'll do today is we'll replay the 3 matches from your victory performance at Subspectrum 6, where you captured the 170-pound title. I think they're all really exciting matches, and it's kind of a cool storyline. So we can kind of play through that. Is there anything that you remember that was going on leading up to this event, other than you said you kind of ventured out into the middle of nowhere, Iowa? Was there anything else that sticks out in your mind from that weekend or that time?
That weekend, the only thing that really sticks out is that I knew Rajijic was in my bracket. And I wanted to get a rematch against him because he made me go viral, armbarring me. So I was I gotta do something to this guy.
I too. To this day, I still get tagged in reposts of that video like all the time. Like for whatever reason, that video just like continues to go viral over and over and over again. It's kind of funny. I mean,
You know
not
what? I
funny,
will
you
say
can laugh
that
at
I
yourself.
played
So
a big part of that was my athleticism in me like cartwheel jumping into a bar definitely helped that video go viral.
yeah,
If I wasn't
absolutely.
so athletic, it wouldn't have been such a hit.
Absolutely. And I'll take partial credit because I'm talking the whole time about how you're not going to tap and then you do.
Yeah, because like I can feel like everything just busting apart in my elbow. If you look at the video afterwards too, you'll see my arm just kind of like fall limp
Yeah.
because like all the muscles are just like giving out at that time. And then I'm like, okay, I guess it kind of works now.
Yeah, and for whatever, I think there must have been like a few other moments like earlier in that night where like you were deep in something and you weren't going to tap. So I was like, I don't know. It seems like Sean's not going to tap to shit tonight, and that's like I said it, and then right after, it's kind of funny he tapped immediately. But people always say something about that,
Yeah.
and the crowd in the background. There's like people like,
Yeah.
shit.
They're like, oh no.
Yeah, nice man. Well, um, let's go ahead and jump right into the matches then. We'll start off with this
Do
first
it.
one. Stephen Gladhill, for those people that don't know, he's somebody from here in Iowa, trains out in the Quad Cities. It's like a purple belt, I think. He won a Masters No-Gi world title at blue belt, so pretty decent wrestler and just an overall good grappler. This was his first round match against Shawn. I'll make sure the sound's muted so it doesn't play the audio of my commentary. Yep, we're good. So what do you remember about this match, if anything?
Um, I remember it like him wanting to wrestle with me was like a relief because I get a lot of guys who touch hands and pull guard, and then I don't get to do any wrestling, and I get a lot of my best positions off of transitions out of wrestling. Um, the other thing I remember was him getting this takedown like pretty soon during the match. And then I was
Yeah,
just like, oh, okay, it looks like I should have warmed up better or something.
yeah, he came out pretty fast right off the gun, looking for your back there. The second time, didn't quite get it, but
Yeah, but he hit me with an arm drag in the first, and I was like, oh no, arm drags are a cool move. Let me see if I can hit an arm drag, and
I'm
then
gonna
it
do
just
that.
ended up working.
Yeah, and then you get into like the exact same position he was off that arm drag to back take. You get the seatbelt, looking for the hooks.
Yeah, good thing my spine moves in funky ways. Wouldn't be able to hold on to that otherwise.
There where you were kind of like bridging while holding on to the seatbelt. Is
Yeah,
that what you're
I
talking
was
about? Yeah.
like extended and rotated with my spine. That was nice.
Nice and in there deep. Can't see it because it's on the far side, but fully locked in, rear naked choke. He's forced to tap. Shawn Weisenburgh moves on to the semifinals of the Subspectrum 6 170-pound tournament. Boom. Winner by rear naked choke. All right, next match. No break. Just right into it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it played.
All right, and then the semifinals against Jared Appenzeller. So for those people that don't know, he's a local black belt from here in Des Moines. Super flexible, super like interesting style of grappling. Really good front headlock series, pretty good leg locks. Just a well-rounded grappler all around. I don't specifically remember this match a lot for whatever reason. I do remember one time you getting really deep in he was really deep in on a calf slicer and you didn't tap.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, here. Why'd it go all the way? There we go. Start back from the beginning. And feel free to chime in anywhere on what you're thinking about the match or anything.
Yeah. I remember I think we had a match my first outing at Subspectrum. Like I looked at some of the pictures.
Oh yeah, you guys did. I forgot about that you guys were in the same bracket. I forgot Appenzeller competed in that one.
Yeah. And then just watching myself be really bad at wrestling for the first minute of every match. Dude,
Could
he's
pull in
got big
hard.
quads.
He does. He's got really strong legs. He's always posting videos of himself deadlifting and squatting and stuff in his garage.
Yeah, him and his vegan deadlifts.
Yep. I don't know how he does it, but he's like one of those vegans that does a really good job with his nutrition. Like, I think he's someone who can actually make it work, whereas a lot of people, they try to go vegan and they just don't have like the proper nutrition and they suffer from it. Whereas I think he actually is like everything down to a science, it seems like.
Yeah, like you get people that really understand what their macros and their micros need to be, but then you get people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to be vegan," and then they just stop eating a lot of
Mm-hmm.
food, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, these vegetables are going to take care of me." Like,
It's not
nah,
going to work
dude.
that way. Yeah. He's always posting pictures of food, so I'm pretty sure he just constantly eats.
Yeah, that's one thing with being vegan that like I usually don't eat a lot throughout the day, and then I have a big meal in the evening, but I don't know if I could just snack all day long on vegetables and stuff. Oh man, dude, let me have your back. Quit fighting.
He's doing a good job of just barely slipping his spine out of alignment with yours.
Yeah. This is back when I used to really try to get those two hooks in too. I don't do that anymore. This isn't IBJJF.
To
There's
go
no
for both
reason to put
hooks.
two hooks in. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to go to like that super hook is like what we call it. I think it's what you've got right now. You don't
The
have it like
super
fully
hook.
triangle. Yeah, I don't. You don't have it like fully triangle, do you? You just have your feet crossed.
Uh,
Yeah, where you have the one hook. Yeah, I like
I
that
like that
spot.
name, super hook. Yeah. Oh, the way I'm grabbing the wrist, I don't do that either. I don't do that anymore either. So
Really?
yeah, like I'll either go I'll either do two hooks when people are belly up, or I'll do the super hook. I'm stealing that name, by the way.
Nice.
I'm gonna coin that, put it in like an instructional DVD, be like, yeah, I came up with this name, super hook.
That, yeah, that comes from my coach. I think Jared Barr. He has always called it the super hook. I don't know if he got it from somewhere else. Maybe Eric Paulson, but
That's a that's a really good name. No,
yeah,
I
I've
don't
always.
grab the full wrist anymore either.
Oh,
I
you grab.
grab the pinky.
Yep, same like the side of the hand, the fat of the hand. We call it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I just like take my index and my thumb and I pinch the pinky. And that way,
Nice,
if you try to run too much, I hook it and I try to break your pinky.
very nice move. Gingerbread man's dirty.
Hey, man, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Oh, man. Let's see what I should have done here is I should have just flattened him out. Good job.
That,
Good job, young man.
that's like the worst place to be right there.
Yeah. Oh, man. My coach is like 265 pounds. He plays heavy pressure game. And when we're in the gi and he's doing this, that is the worst spot in the whole wide world.
Yeah,
You
if
know,
so,
you
like,
know that video, the what was it, like 180 hours or 100 how many ever hours where the guy has to like cut his arm off
oh yeah,
to
yep.
get out between that's what it feels like. I'm just like if I could just cut my head off and slip out of here, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, especially if somebody has good hip pressure, like if they're an old wrestler, like we have this white belt, like shout out to Mike Anderson if you're listening. But when we do back drills, sometimes he'll get me in that position there, and for a few split seconds, I'll be thinking like, man, I'm fucked here. Like this white belt's just gonna hold me here for the rest of time. Like it's just a shitty place to be, and I can't even imagine with somebody that was 260 pounds. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Jared's super tough. I was trying to take his neck off there. I wasn't being friendly about it either. I think when I pulled on that though, I scratched my head. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do to this guy to make him tap?
Yeah, he's super hard to finish. He's like super
Yeah.
flexible. So in a lot of positions where you think you have him, you don't.
Yeah. I want to know what my slip up was to give him the calf slicer though.
Yeah, I'll be
Be
interested to see where
interesting.
that was too, where he gets on your back eventually.
I think it's my right leg, and I think I'm about to screw up. I think it's right. I think I'm about to do it
Oh,
right here.
I
So
could
I
see
go
that.
for the truck. I think
He's
he's
good
gonna
at flip.
reverse me in a second.
Yep, I believe it because he's good at
Oh,
switching.
yep.
Yep, yeah, he's good at switching it in this position. He's pushing his shin against his own foot. Oh man, that's nasty. Ah.
Yeah, so
Did you?
so he asked me
Oh,
afterwards, like, man, are you just like you just don't tap the calf slicers? And I was like, no, because I did at the Metamoris Challenger.
oh, and you did
That
that too.
that yeah, I did that. I was also in it with Rajijic, and I tapped to it and then immediately regretted it. I was like, dude, my knee's fine. I could have walked that off. I could have iced it later. I was like, I'm never tapping to a calf slicer again. Like, I
Yep.
might pop an ACL, but I got a PCL to hold my knee together. I'll be fine. It's
Damn,
okay. So I just don't tap the calf slicers anymore.
that's hardcore. Did you have any kind of injury from this one at all? Like, was your knee even sore? Or?
Yeah, yeah. I think because like we went out later that night, and I was just kind of like babying it, like when you do that limp where you like put one foot down and then you kind of hop over that foot and then you put it
Yep.
down and like hop over. Yeah, that's what I was doing for a lot of that night.
Nice. Oh yeah, because that was the night we went out to like Denny's, wasn't it? It was like me, you, Bradley, Donald, a couple other guys, I think.
Yeah,
That was fun. I wish we would have had like a longer weekend where we could have like done more stuff like that.
yeah. That's
Go
what
out, have
that's what you were saying was like we should do like the whole thing of have the tournament and then afterwards go out and like have a good old time. And that's kind of what Phil Schwartz did for Shugyo is he just had like a barbecue at his place afterwards.
yeah, and I want to do more stuff like that. Like in the past, it's just been such like a rush trying to get like everything done in the same weekend. But now I actually have like people to help me, so it's like I could organize some more things like that. Where like the day after we could go out. There's like a bunch of cool places here in Des Moines where we could go out and do stuff. So I think that'd be awesome.
Oh man, I just got in on that heel hook there at the very end.
And then yeah, this was back when we did EBI overtime, so we went to that next. I forgot about that.
Uh,
We used to do EBI overtime. That's so weird.
yeah, and now you do ADCC,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, or at least like
What?
ADCC points. The way that we score the points is a little bit more liberal. Like you don't have to get like both hooks or like put the person's back on the mat for 3 seconds. Like it's more like for a takedown, it's more like wrestling. Like if you just get the person on the ground and you're on top, that's 2 points. But yeah.
So why did you want to switch from EBI to ADCC? ADCC-ish, we'll say.
Yeah, I honestly I just wanted to try something different. There wasn't even like any specific like moments or matches that like frustrated me or made me mad, to be honest. Like I just wanted to try something new and see how it turned out. And I really liked at least the first two events we've done with like the ADCC point scoring. I've really liked how the matches have turned out. So I don't know if that's
Hmm.
just who I had on the card or if it's actually a product of the rule set, but yeah. And I think there's not that many tournaments out there that are using ADCC point scoring. So if I can put something together that helps people prepare for that a little bit better, I'd like to be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And here I'm trying to do like high school wrestling hip escape out of the leg ride kind of junk. Man, it's really good that I got these petite hips that let me like rotate around in people's back control.
In the body triangle too. Like I know a lot of people get like rib injuries when they're trying to twist out of that.
Oh man, have you ever slipped a rib in there?
Yeah, I have. It fucking sucks.
That doesn't feel nice at all. I
No,
had some
and
skinny dude. He had a body triangle on me, and I felt my rib go like in to my like chest cavity, and then I had to like take a deep breath, and then like it popped out, but it didn't pop all the way, and it hurt real bad when I did it, and so I had to do it again. That was rough.
That sounds rough. Yeah. And anytime I've had like a rim injury, it just takes for fucking ever to get better. Like it does not heal quickly.
Oh man, that was such a bad back control.
Was that him that slipped out really quick? I wasn't watching
Oh,
the video.
super fast. Like
Yeah.
I put the seatbelt on and he just like rolled out. I'm like, oh well, that's terrible.
So you must have tapped him then, because you or
Don't give away the ending.
I can't remember. I remember the final match.
There we go. There we go. It's funny because like Steven gave me the idea to arm drag in the first round, and then he gave me the idea to bridge and spin real hard. I'm like, man, I'm like Mega Man trying to steal everybody's moves here.
That's pretty cool. Using all their own moves against them to win.
And I had that little conversation with myself, like which seatbelt should I put in?
You switch it up and go left and right sometimes.
Sometimes, like I have to figure out whether I'm more likely to armbar on the one side or if I'm more likely to choke on the other side. I think this is where I get it, is
Yeah,
because his hands are occupied, and so with his hands on the mat. Oh wait, no, standing. Oh come on, get a standing choke.
I think he ends up going to all fours by the time he taps, but
Oh boy,
I
gonna
wish we had a
sink it
camera
in.
on the far side. This would be a good view.
Oh man,
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
Yeah, because I think because his hands go down and then they're occupied, and so I throw that choke in. And I think because I went first, we didn't go again for the time afterwards. EBI kind of funny when have you ever been in a tournament where the people are running EBI but they don't understand EBI over time?
Yeah, there's one of those.
That's super
Actually, quite a few.
unfortunate.
I can't say one. It's been quite a few actually.
That's always great.
Yeah, well, and that was the problem with this one is like I needed to find a ref, and like Cliff knows the rules, but he wasn't like 100% on them. So there were a couple moments throughout the night where like somebody wasn't quite out and he called it. I don't think it really changed the outcome of any matches, but there were definitely some moments where people were upset. So
Yeah.
I almost feel like I have to ref everything. I'm like the only person that I trust enough. Or there's actually a couple people. There's like some guys down from Kansas City and like Omaha, like black belts that I have up that are really, really good referees. So I trust those guys. But for the pro matches, it's hard for me to pull myself away from it and not be the one that takes all the blame for it if something goes wrong. So
Yeah.
here we got the
It's hard
finals
to
match.
delegate out things. Like you want everything to be perfect, so you or at least if something goes wrong, you want it to be your fault and not somebody that you delegated the task to.
Exactly. And so like that's something I've had to work through over the last year is like starting to delegate things and hand things off and just be like, you know what, it's going to be okay. Like they're not going to fuck it up. Even if it's not exactly the way you would have done it, like it's going to be all right. And it makes me a lot more open to be able to do other things. So it's helpful in that sense.
So somebody told me that Vikenti was a judo black belt, and I was like, awesome. We're gonna do some no-gi judo versus wrestling on the feet to start this match. And then he touched hands and sat.
Yep.
I was like, no, why'd you sit down? This could have been cool.
Yeah, I'm
Like
guessing
you could have thrown me for Ippon or something.
because most of the matches I've seen him do, he actually does use his judo on the feet. So it's kind of weird to see him pull guard in this one. I don't know if he saw something in one of your previous matches that made him think he should pull guard or what, but
Oh well.
yep. So he beat Rahacic in the semifinals on the other side. I think he beat him
Have
by
I been
arm.
saying his
Beat him.
name wrong this whole time?
I'm not sure if I even say it right, but I think it's Rahacic.
Rahashic?
Yeah, it's like Serbian or Croatian, Bosnian. I probably screwed that up. He's gonna be like, "Fuck you."
Someplace where they drink vodka.
Yes, but I have a friend who's Bosnian, and I asked, and they're like, "Yeah, it's Rahacic." So
Rahachich.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm probably dyslexic because if I'm pronouncing it my way, the J would be at the end and not in the middle. Okay. Sorry, Alex.
That's all right. I'm sure he gets it all the time. So, all right. So this finals match, like we said, Vikente's a judo black belt. I think he's a jiu-jitsu brown belt. He won first round over by toe hold. Then he beat Rahachich in the semifinals by armbar. And then here's
Dude, yeah.
Champion
Was that the overtime or was that regulation? Do you remember?
It was overtime, so it was like the last chance he had. Like he had just escaped, and then he was on there, and he had to finish, and he finished by armbar.
Yeah, I was kind of cool either way with that one because it was like, okay, maybe I get my rematch against Alex, or I don't have to rematch Alex
Yeah.
and have him hurt me again.
All right, so let's start this one here. This is the finals match of our 170. Left hand side's Vikente, right hand side's Shawn. For anybody that's
Look at that!
confused,
Look at that judo tape on his fingers.
ready to get it on, and then just boom.
Yep, down we go. Okay. So it's like as soon as we got going, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can pass this guy's guard. So that was reassuring to me. I'm like, that's a good place to be in life.
Looks like you got like a Kimura sweep right away.
Yeah, so I wanted to throw him over my back and then end up in like this arm lock slash back take position
Yep.
and got right where I wanted to be and then right on the edge of the mat.
Yeah, that's a shitty spot. I call that trick question.
Trick
You
question.
get that sweep, and then if they sit up all the way, you can go to the back. If they don't, then you can go to the arm, or you can come up onto like north south. I think that's what you're talking
Yeah.
about, that same position.
Yeah. There's Alex in the background.
Yeah, everybody opted out of the third place matches. I made third place matches for both of the brackets, and all four guys were like, I don't really want to.
Yeah.
It's like,
Because
wow,
they
come
just
on.
been there all day
Yeah.
and like trying to do an additional match is like, eh.
Looks like he's looking for Kimura now on that far side.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Slip the elbow,
Looks
though.
like it. I think I got to the side on that and he could feel me threatening armbar and so he opted to not let me have that. But then he sat up and gave me his back. I think at this point too, I wasn't super good at trapping arms yet. Like I said, like I've adjusted how I grip that wrist. I grab that pinky instead.
Hmm.
But at this point, I wasn't like super adept at the bottom hand choke and the arm trapping. I think I like tried to specialize that later. You sure this wasn't 2018?
Let's think. Yes, 2018. That is correct. I misspoke. Yeah, 2019 would have been very recently. That would have been like a few months ago.
Yeah. That's the problem when you're on somebody's back and you're unable to occupy their arms. It's like you basically have a 1-on-2 battle as far as the arm goes. And you are at a great disadvantage.
Yeah. So that was a good switch there. You switched to the Kimura grip and then to the armbar. It looks like you're trying to get him
Ooh,
to
but I
sit up
need,
and take the back again.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I wanted that reverse triangle, but I don't have the angle here to make that work. And
Hmm.
now I'm like kind of fiddling around. Like I think I'll just take top position or the back and be fine with either, or try this arm triangle real quick. He was really good at staying just on the edge of a submission, like being just outside of the entry to a submission, like this arm triangle and then the back, the chokes, the arm locks.
Just barely getting himself out of there.
Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah.
right out
So
of the gate.
here I'm trying to do like this pseudo arm triangle
Oh,
from
nice.
the side thing.
Yeah.
because I had the idea to do it because I got one of my training partners earlier in the week with an arm triangle just like this. But I also think my training partner is being a little bit of a wuss, and that's probably why I got it.
The Kente wasn't a wuss.
No, he's not. He is not. There was rumor going around that in this match his hand was broken.
Oh, really? From like something that
Yeah.
happened earlier in the night,
Yeah, like he might like pop something in his hand. Maybe it's like
Oh shit.
dislocated or something. Because I don't know. I don't see anything broken to the point where you'd be able to, or somebody else would be able to notice that.
Yeah.
But I definitely was like feeling around and I felt like pops in there. And I didn't want to be a dick and just like squeeze on it because it wasn't really going to help me with control. But I also wasn't going to not grab his wrists and try to submit him, you know?
Yeah, of course.
All right. See, so there's the problem is like I would kind of trap the arm, but then not like tuck it behind the back. And like when you get that arm trapped, you need to either cross over cross over the leg that's trapping the arm, or you need to get that shit all the way behind their back. And
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't doing, I was doing like this weird middle range where I was like kind of not trapping an arm. And then like about halfway through every match, my head just gets super red. Like my face just turns beet red.
Why is that? You not breathing?
Um, probably because I'm just trying not to shit my pants the whole time. No, well, I think part of it's because of my very pale complexion, you can see all the blood rushing to the surface, and the other parts like exercise induce asthma.
Yep.
So like breathing just becomes very difficult. You'd put a story up about how you were having an asthma attack during the finals match of a tournament.
Yep. Yeah. And it's honestly like kind of common where I'll have like a mini one. That was just one where like I literally could not breathe the entire match. Like I was just sucking wind the entire time. Other times it's just like my breath is like a little labored, but oh my God, how did you not finish this one?
Okay, so
He just turned out just barely.
well, one is real tough.
Yeah.
And two, this was before I figured out that you can actually choke somebody through the jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was doing was I was trying to like corkscrew his head off
Oh yeah, like neck cranks and
instead
stuff
of
are
trying
allowed.
to. So yeah, because I'll turn their jaw this like towards their shoulder to try to neck crank them.
Mm-hmm.
But the real trick is you bring your elbow down, so it's just you're trying to push their jaw into their throat.
Yeah.
I hadn't figured that out yet, and so I was just making these tactical submission mistakes.
Oh, nice escape from the Omoplata. Shout
Yeah,
out to
that's another thing that my coach does really well is omoplatas. So every time I get put in an omoplata, I'm like, ah, sweet, I'm getting out of this.
I feel really comfortable in Omoplata too. And I feel like I actually have like a lot of good entries into other submissions. Like you can jump over and attack the legs, and like rolling out. There's a lot of stuff you can do to attack the legs too. So I
Yeah,
actually like that position. I'll give like if I'm in a position where I'm about to get triangled, I'll just give up the Omoplata because I feel a lot more confident getting out of an Omoplata than a triangle.
yeah, yeah. Because staying in an omoplata, it doesn't really tax you. It's not
No,
really like it's just like your shoulder's a little tweaked, and if
yeah,
you're flexible enough, you're fine.
yeah.
But if
If you
you're in a
can lock it down.
triangle, you're just struggling the whole damn time.
Yeah, like trying to get your posture back, just trying to breathe. Like it's very laboring. Whereas like an omoplata, if you just can grab your hip and kind of lock your shoulder down, you feel pretty safe.
Yeah, Kit Dale has like some gi move where he takes people's back off the omoplata.
I
Oh
could see
man,
that.
so here I was like, oh great, so now I need to I need to get out of this shit because I knew if I was gonna get finished, it was gonna be this.
The armbar position.
Yeah.
Got Appenzeller watching in the background.
And Rahajic.
Is he back
He's
there
right.
too?
Yeah, he's right over
Oh, I see him
Vicenti's
now.
feet.
Yep, right over his feet. Yep.
And like here, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a bad decision I'm making, but I feel like I can get out if I just unspider web, and then
Like using your feet. Oh my gosh, that's a crazy position.
yeah. So this is something that my girlfriend does a lot, where she'll like I'll be armbarring her, and she'll just throw her legs up, and she's a little shameless about it. She'll just start kicking me in the face,
hmm
and it's super effective.
Yeah.
Like you just constantly getting paws to the face. I think he's got my arm straight now.
Shit, but your
And I'm
elbows.
like, yeah, but I'm like, well, he's not gonna break my forearm probably. I've
But yeah,
seen that. I've seen people get their forearm broken though.
that like you were saying, stepping over in that spider web position when you have your arm taken, that's like actually that match that I was talking about that I won with the asthma attack. Like that's how I won in overtime, like to escape at the very last second. Like I just kicked my leg over and like the bottom of my heel kind of like pressed his jaw up, and he was like
Nice.
leaned back, and I just pulled my elbow out in that moment and did what I had to do. And then I puked in a target sack
Nice.
in front of like a bunch of legends of the sport. Like I think Donaher was there, Gordon was there, Gary was there, Eddie Bravo was there.
Oh, is this the one? I don't think I got it on the. Yes, I did. And then he rolls out, and
Yep.
I'm just
Yeah.
squeezing as hard as
Gym
possible.
floor.
And I was so excited because I was like, yes, I didn't waste all my money coming out here. Left
Again.
my mouth guard on the ground right there at the edge of the mat. I don't know why I throw my mouth guard because I'm going to need to put that back in my mouth at some point.
Did you pick
That
it up?
was so.
Did you get that mouth guard back?
No, somebody, I think your brother actually found it and gave it to me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty elating to have that win finally, especially coming out to Iowa 3 times. Like you want to get gold at least once.
Yeah, you don't just go to Iowa because you like it, right?
I liked Iowa. Actually, I did. I thought it was going to be just frozen cold. And then this is how excited I am.
Get the little dance in. Steven walks by, gives you some. This was awesome.
Oh man. But no, I liked Iowa. I looked forward to coming back out the second time after after getting mauled the first time.
Well, I'm trying to remember what your first time was. It was Subspectrum 3, right? Yeah, that was the one like in the actual gym.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in the gym.
You
And
got mauled at that one? I thought I remembered you doing really well.
oh no, I did really well. I say I got mauled because my first match I didn't get mauled. I got heel hooked
Oh, yeah.
on that
Caleb.
like yeah, yeah, Mr. McAllister. It's that like illegal judo move where they like dive in and try to do like that ninja foot sweep.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So like 3 days before that, I had I think I had like a really bad stomach flu or really bad food poisoning because for 2 days I was just like puking and shitting up a storm. And then I get to I fly in, I get to Des Moines, and I just like immediately I either like weighed in and then went to the hotel and just like slept for 12 hours drinking Gatorades trying to get all of my nutrients back.
That was the first one, the very first one.
That was the first one. The second one, yeah, the second one I kind of like I knew more what to expect. So it wasn't such a shock when I landed
Just
because like
being familiar with the place and knowing where you're gonna go and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found a really cheap hotel. Like that time I didn't just stay in a in a car. I actually rented a car and got a hotel. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think was that the one I met you at? I like met you to give you a scale or something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Yeah,
It's like right next to my buddy's place.
yeah. And it was right across the street from this like Irish pub.
Yep.
And
Uh,
so
Trina's or something. Or no, there's a, yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
yeah, so like I went in there the day before to get Wi-Fi, and then so they like saw me and they recognized me when I came in after I lost to Rahajic. And then I walked in, sat down at the bar, and then the bartender's like, "Hey Sean, you don't look so good. Here's a whiskey." And I was like, "Thanks." I'm glad it was spelled out on my face just how upset I was.
I'm glad that the Iowa people did right by you then. Got you,
Yeah.
hooked you up with
Yeah,
a whiskey
both
shot.
times. Yeah, everybody and I was very nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty friendly place compared to like when I go to big cities, I'm always just surprised at how like unfriendly people are. Just like in passing, like in Iowa, you almost just like always at least look at somebody or smile at somebody or wave or say hi. And like I'm in California and I'm like looking at people and they're like looking at me like, what the fuck you looking at, weirdo?
Avert your eyes, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seattle's like that. Seattle won't be like overtly like that. Everybody in Seattle is like you've heard of the Seattle chill.
Hmm.
And so people will they'll pretend that you aren't there. And I don't think it's because people are trying to be mean. It's like people are just super socially awkward here.
Hmm.
So they're like, if I pretend like the person doesn't exist and they buy that I don't notice their existence, then I won't have to have a social interaction.
I think it's the same thing in like big cities. Like you probably just like you come across so many people that if you were to try to stop and interact with every single one of them, like you'd never have any time to fucking do anything. So I try to think of it that
Yeah.
way too. Like maybe that's why people just don't want to stop and talk to me. They just don't have the time. Whereas like in Iowa, I don't see people that often. So
Yeah.
or
It
even
was
like
something that one of my Indian friends was saying, like, yeah, in India, like people are seen as a bother because there's just so many of them. They were like, yeah, it's like you see a rat in your house and you're like, man, get this rat out of the house. And then people have the same feeling towards people on the street, like, oh, look at all these rats in my way to
mhm.
where I'm going. Like, I don't know. He was also kind of a cynic, but
But no, I could see that though. Like if that's what you encounter on a daily basis, obviously I've never really experienced that. I've never walked down like a crowded downtown sidewalk where like there's people on both sides of me going in different directions. Like that's never been a reality for me. So I don't know how I would react to that or if I would be less friendly if that were my environment.
hmm. Hey, on another note, were you at all planning on watching, like going to the Olympics this year?
To the Olympics?
Yeah,
Not specifically, no, but why do you ask?
I was actually like thinking about going to Japan for the Olympics. Obviously, it's super expensive, so
Yeah.
I had not figured out how I was going to do that. But now I've got a whole nother year that I can save up money, and I really wanted to go and watch the Olympics in Tokyo, see the wrestling and see the judo. That'd be super dope.
That would be pretty awesome. So did they moved it to next year? Is that right?
Yeah, so the Olympics are 2021 now, and I
Okay.
think they're in August of next year.
Okay. So they're doing them a little later.
Yeah, I guess to give the athletes like a little bit more time to like recover from not being able to compete
Yeah.
because that's like a super emotional dump.
Yeah.
Like
That would
I was
suck.
already ready, and go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something like jujitsu guys don't get a lot is like that they pick an event like 6 months in the future and then they don't compete at all leading up to that. It's like if you watch any high level competitor like in the Olympic at the Olympic level, like they are competing every weekend as much as they possibly can leading up to that big event. Like they don't look at it as just this one event that they have to win. Like it's a process, like with all the events that lead up to it.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I try to compete, like especially getting ready for like Nogi Worlds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd try to line up a couple tournaments ahead of time so that I make sure like I'm sharp going in and I'm able to deal with competition nerves. And I think jujitsu people are just worried that they're going to get injured like before their tournament or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess that makes
And
sense.
and it's funny because like you're probably not going to get injured though. Like statistically speaking, most injuries happen during practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very rarely have gotten injured in competition. It's always been like a stupid situation in practice with somebody that I shouldn't have been rolling with in the first place. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, like I think the only serious injury I've ever gotten was when I was doing the Portland Sunday Open. And this was the qualifier for Submission Underground. Like if you won at this Portland Open, they would let you have a match. I guess like on the main card
oh,
for
weird.
Submission Underground.
I didn't know
I
they were
ended up
doing things like
getting an undercard match anyway, but like it was weird. I was like in this turtle position, and this guy started going for an armbar, but one of us slipped, and while he was still holding my wrist, he fell belly down into my elbow and like almost snapped it back.
that. Oh, fuck.
Dude, it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad, and I screamed tap, and then I get up and I'm holding my arm and I start walking away, and the ref's like trying to like make sure I'm not like wandering off into like another match or something, and then he like tries to grab my shoulder. I'm like, get off of me! I'm like I'm like half in pain and half throwing a hissy fit because I just lost.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the qualifier.
Yeah, so that was like in the pool. So um you had three matches, and because there's like four people in the pool, so you had three matches, and the person who got the most submissions out of that pool moved on to the finals, and then the winner of that would go on to have a match at Subspectrum Submission Underground.
Gotcha. And so you won like their brown belt tournament, right? And then you were supposed to have like a follow up matchup. That never happened, did it? With like Micah Brakefield or whatever.
Yeah. So, and I was like looking forward to that because they were like, "Oh yeah, it'll be a main card match against Micah." I'm like, "Cool, that'd be great." Um, when she hit me up, when Heather hits me up for the match, and then she was saying it's like, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass, and then you know, but we're like not going to pay anything. And it was on a Sunday because the Mission Underground goes up on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, in my head, I had to not say anything because Phil, this was the same weekend that Shugyo was going down.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was like, well, Phil's like paying us just to show up. In my head, I'm not saying this because I'm not allowed to say anything
Yeah.
about the whole thing because he wanted it to be this big secret like reveal.
Yeah.
It was like a Mortal Kombat secret kumite, and so I was just like, well, I don't want to go out and compete on the Sunday, which would have been the day for the final for Shugyo.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be competing in no time limit matches the day before. Like if Heather was offering to like pay out something, I probably would have gone in for that match for Submission Underground.
Just because
But
it's a bigger platform and more exposure and stuff like that.
Well, no, I thought it'd be a cool match.
Yeah.
But on the other end of that, it's like, well, I am going to have matches that exact weekend, and those ones pay out. So I'm not gonna not go to Shugyo and do Submission Underground, but I'm also gonna not gonna go to commit to a match at Submission Underground that I'm not certain I can make. Because what if I got injured on Saturday, or what if I got injured on Sunday, or what if Sunday's no time limit match went on for 5 hours and I didn't make the roundup for Submission Underground. So it was like, well, I'm not gonna. There's no benefit for me hitting this match. Like it's just gonna be more stress on top of everything. I guess that's not like a warrior spirit to have about it, but oh well.
I don't think anybody's gonna knock you for it.
I got that little voice in the back of my head. It's like, hey man, you just being a bitch. Like all the time for everything.
I have it too.
Like you ever get into the shower and then you're like taking a warm shower, and then that little voice is just like, this should have been a cold shower. Wuss.
I do
Or
the
like
same.
you
Like I'll get done with like a workout, or not a workout. I don't know what I'm trying to think of, but just any situation where I'm like, I should have done like the harder route. I know what you're saying. It came to like ever since high school wrestling, like, you know, coaches kind of put that in your head that like, you know, if you know that door is harder to open that door. Like don't go for the easy door. Like we had these doors that had the handicap assistance on them. So like if you just tried to manually open those doors, they're like harder to open. They're like kind of heavy.
Yeah.
It's got like a
Because they got the gears behind them that would have been.
Yeah, so our coaches are always telling us like, open that door. Don't use the one to the left. That's a little bit easier to open. Always open the harder door. So like that's something that kind of was instilled in me from the time I was pretty young. But
So we had stairs at our high school, and then we were always told like, don't take the stairs one at a time. Always take them two at a time or three at a time if you're tall.
yeah,
Because that'll make your legs stronger, especially if you're carrying your backpack and all your books. And really, it does like nothing, but it just gets in your head that you're like, oh, I'm doing a tougher thing, therefore I'm a tougher person. And like to a certain extent, like that's pretty beneficial to have that mindset. But then sometimes you're just mind fucking yourself.
Yeah.
To try to convince yourself that you're tougher than you actually are. It's funny the things that you take away from wrestling, like, oh, you don't need food, or oh, you don't need water, or you don't need friends in a social life. Just push past.
all the most essential things to human life just don't need at all.
Yeah. So it's funny, like jujitsu and wrestling and fighting and all that, like they're all great metaphors for life. But then they end up, so like the sport itself is supposed to create these great people who are like super, physically fit, but also mentally tough. And so they can go ahead after the sport and face life and all that. But then, like, the really competitive people who get really into it end up being just like the most egregiously unbalanced human beings that are like super socially awkward, but like just killers on the mat. But they can't hold a conversation down for like 5 minutes.
That's like you see that a lot across the really high level, like wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys. I'm trying to think of other sports that are similar to that, where you just get complete weirdos when they're like completely obsessed with something. But
yeah, and like boxers too, who are just like,
oh yeah,
just super CTE.
basically,
Like,
I guess any combat sport for the most part. It's like people
yeah.
in combat sport, like you just have to be a special kind of person to be like, yeah, I want to get into a place where another person might hurt me.
Yeah, special.
So we'll finish up here pretty soon, but I did want to ask you just because I kind of forgot that you did Shugio. So what was that experience like doing Shugio with the whole no time limit? You guys, I don't know if you guys had to sign like NDAs or something, but it was like you guys recorded the show. It was private, and then it came out like months later with like a really good production. So just kind of talk to me about what that whole process was like. Also, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking. This is my breakfast beer.
Oh, nice.
The Otis. It says oatmeal on it, so that's why I have it for breakfast.
Very nice.
Because I don't have anywhere to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm having a meal right now with some Tito's and ginger beer. So
Oh, dude, cheers.
I'm empty, but I'll refill here.
Oh, I take it back. You don't get that. That's my cheers now.
Reverse. Whoop.
Yeah, no, it was cool because so Phil talked to me at at the ADCC trials, and he was saying like, "Hey, yo, I'm trying to get some killers together for this tournament." He's saying it'd be like 8 or 16. I think he was pretty set on 8, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, and so he was talking like, "Yeah, I'm talking to Danaher about possibly getting Nikki Ryan on it." Nikki ended up not coming. It was
Krellenston, right?
yes, yes. And so I was like, yeah, that sounds good. He's like, I'm gonna get a bunch of sponsors together, pay for your guys' way. I'm like, yeah, no, because I had kind of come to like a self agreement slash relationship agreement that I wasn't gonna be spending ridiculous amounts of money to go out to tournaments unless there was a possibility of earning that back
Mm-hmm.
or there was some sort of grand prestige behind winning.
Yep.
So there was no more like, I'm gonna go drive down to Portland for a Naga and spend like $400 on a tournament and like a cheap plastic belt.
Yep.
So that had been like taken out. So that was like a really, really nice, like, oh yeah, no, that'd be great. I'd love to do that. So then drove down on Friday to weigh in, and that was pretty great because it was already hot in Portland at the time, so cutting weight was super easy because you just kept sweating,
Mm-hmm.
like you couldn't stop sweating. And it's nice living in Seattle. I can just drive to Portland. So we weighed in, and then I think on Friday we did interviews, and like I interview super awkwardly, so I was like talking to my chest and like really low volume and being super duper awkward. um, but that got done, and then tournament day comes around, and um, so that that mat room was all blacked out for the event, so it would look really nice, and it turned out it looked super cool, and all the lights and everything were in there. But like I think it was like a black tarp was around all of the doors and everything so that extra light couldn't seep in from the outside. Because like just outside they had like these big garage doors they could open, but just outside was like the street, so you could hear buses and cars driving by. So like it's a really hot day outside. So then it got really hot inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I saw that with like some of the matches that went really long. It was literally just like a fucking swamp on the mats.
yeah, like Keith and Josh's match
Mm-hmm.
where they went for, I think they went just over an hour,
It's
and at
fucking.
like that the halfway mark it was just like you just hear like the wet slaps together. It sounded like a really violent porno after a while. So yeah, and then oh yeah, and we did like I think the day before is when we did all of our like walkout stuff, and so they had us do like the pose, and then like they had us grappling with uh Casey, I think his name is, if I'm right. Wickedly tatted dude. Super nice guy.
Casey Van.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he came out for one of the like Subspectrum 7. So he like his girlfriend was in the 135, and then he competed in the day tournament. So I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we did all of that, and then we did like our what is it? Homie described it as like, all right, and so this is like your character screen. So like when you're like going through the menu to pick a fighter in Mortal Kombat, this is what you're gonna look like. And I'm like,
Nice.
cool. And I don't know why. I just decided I was wearing a fedora the whole weekend. I was like, I'm the
Oh
fedora guy this week.
yeah.
I actually got that fedora on the way to one of the sub spectrums too.
Oh really? In one of the
Yeah,
airports
because it
or what?
yeah, because it was like $10 in the airport, and you never
Oh
see
shit!
anything for 10, right? Like that's
You
super
can't even
cheap
get a
for
fucking
airport stuff,
coffee for $10.
right? Like a bottle of water is $12 at least.
Yeah, fuck that.
So then we had the first matches on Saturday, and that was pretty great because like I was really hoping that I would get Orchard as my first match, and I got him first match of the whole thing. So I was like,
Mhm.
perfect. This is what I wanted because I didn't want to like sit around and have a bunch of other matches. Like I wanted to get that one first, and that was a super fun match. It was a lot of fun. He wasn't as strong as I thought he would be. Like I definitely felt stronger than he was, but he was super duper slick. Like, and I think he did that to just about everybody. It was like he would be like kind of losing, and then
Mhm.
he'd like sneak up on you from behind and like finish the match that way.
Yeah, that's actually like specifically what I remember about watching like the Shugio matches was just like him getting in really bad positions, and then finding a way out of them, and almost usually directly right into like a submission opportunity. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't. It's like he was like losing the majority of the match, and then he finds a spot and gets the finish right away. Like it's pretty impressive.
yeah. And, and I think one of the things I said was like they asked me like, what do you think about the no time limit thing? And I'm like, well, if I play it, if I'm smart and I don't make any mistakes, it's going to be a really easy day. But if I do some dumb shit, it's going to be a really difficult day. And then I did some dumb shit in my first match, got my back taken, got choked. I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be a long day then.
Was
And
so? How quick was that match? I can't remember. I'm thinking about pulling it up maybe.
the first match, yeah, do
Yeah,
it. I mean, it was a
might as
good,
well, right? Well, we got it.
you know, um, I don't know. I think it was like 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. Maybe less. I think it was somewhere around that time. It wasn't a long match. It was certainly not the longest match of the day by any stretch.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I also had the shortest match of the day when Jordan Hawley dropped in on a heel hook.
Oh shit, yeah, dude, he's sneaky. He's got good leg locks. He's like super, and
Yeah.
he's super strong too. He's just like short, compact. Like once he gets on a leg,
Yeah.
I imagine it's pretty hard to clear the knee line with him.
Yeah, like I usually don't tap to leg locks. Um and I think part of it was like I understood what was going to happen in the next couple rounds. So like the opportunity for um prize money was definitely out of the picture.
Hmm.
Like the only thing left was glory. And I was like, man, fuck glory. My knee's gonna break here at a certain point. But he had it super tight too.
Well,
That was
yeah,
one of the
he's got
one of
like
the
good
tighter
breaking
heel hooks I've
mechanics.
ever been in.
Yeah, he's got like really good breaking mechanics. He's not one of those
Yeah.
dudes that just like grabs the heel and rips with it. Like he's
No,
obviously
he
he's studied it a
grabbed
lot.
it, got it locked, and then everything was vicing into place.
Yep.
He popped my knee a couple times in like a very short span of time.
Nice. So yeah, I got the Orchard match pulled up here. Looks like it's about 5 minutes.
There we go. Yeah. The other thing is he had that really nicely done man bun. So that was an interesting thing to grip on because like you could get a hold on the back of his head, right? But then like the hair will start to slide. So I wonder if Nathan's putting that man bun on for nefarious reasons.
That actually, it kind of makes sense. Like just thinking about it right now, like how it would be to actually, because I don't grapple with people that have man buns that often, but it feels like it would, like what you're saying is that it would slip right off. There's like nothing to really grab onto when the hair's all pulled that same way. It's slick.
Yeah. So here's where I felt like, oh, I don't think he's super strong, but I definitely felt him like trying to come up on that arm bar. And I was like, if I can't get this Kimura proper, then he's probably going to try to armbar me. So I made that transition. Yeah, and I had like a funky grip on his ankle there too. And I was trying to hit the front quarter Nelson. And then I just like randomly get the mount from that wizard as he sits back, and I just stepped over both the legs to make that mount happen. I think right here I'm trying to like get separation of the hands so I could possibly start setting up an arm lock or something. He had like like spaghetti noodle limbs. Like they'd just be like sneaking into all sorts of different grips and such where they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, that's where you see like the difference between like flexibility and dexterity. Like flexibility, people can pull their shit into certain places, but dexterity, like they're actually just putting their foot or putting like different parts of their body into weird places. Like, how the fuck did that get there? Like
Yeah.
passing someone's guard. Like, there's a couple guys in my gym that are like that, like Ben Telke and Zach. They just their feet come in from all these weird angles because they've got weird dexterity.
Yeah, and I think 10th Planet puts a premium on having that dexterity as well. Yeah, and after this match, I got really, I put a premium on learning how to supremely hold back and never ever letting go, and having every possible way out covered by a submission. Because I was like, if I had had that in place, I felt like I might have been able to win that match. And then it's all downhill from here. Like, clear the knee line. Don't get your back taken. Oh, your back's taken. Get your back on the mat. Priority. Then he like, I think he put in a half from the back, a power half. And now right here, I'm thinking I'm gonna do like what I did with Jared, and I'm just gonna spin around and get into a good spot. And then he got grip onto my scapula here, and now he's squeezing the friggin'
Oh,
life
dude.
out of me.
I was gonna say that body triangle looks brutal.
And I'm like, and then finally it like slipped under my chin for that one. And I was just like, typical me, I get real moody after my losses, and I get really happy after my wins. So I'm just sitting there just like having a little mental hissy fit after that match. But dang, that is such, look at that samurai right there.
I'm gonna pause on that. That looks dope.
That's super cool.
Shout out to
Good job, Phil.
Shugito for an awesome event. I think we have Phil
Yeah,
Schwartz in the comments. He's got to put that all together. So shout out to him as well.
yeah, that was a, I mean, of all the tournaments I've competed in, probably Shugyo and Subspectrum were the most fun I've ever had, like
Oh,
at a tournament. Um, so Submission Underground too, to be sure.
mm-hmm.
But I've only had one tournament there. The other one was just a match. So like of the tournaments I've competed in, yeah, those have been the most fun. Not so much a fan of being in the IBJJF bullpen and then having somebody calling out for Shawn Michael. Because if you put your middle name in on your ID card.
Yep.
They don't call your last name, so I was like, I guess I'm Shawn Michael.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Heartbreak Kid. Gingerbread Man.
Yep. Just start all of my matches with a side kick to the chin.
I think that's IBJJF legal, right?
Nothing is IBJJF legal. You're not allowed to do anything.
You're not allowed to grapple.
You're not allowed to grab people.
You just have to let the Brazilian beat you.
That sounds accurate. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Nice, man. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you for jumping on. That was actually a lot of fun. Maybe we can bring you on again to do some of your other matches. I wanted to bring you on for the ones that you actually won before bringing you on for the ones that you didn't. I didn't want to shoot you in the face like that. So,
well, I guess I would have taken either one. That's fine.
But no, it'd be fun to go back.
We put an L on there towards the end.
Oh yeah, I guess we put up the match with Orchard, but yeah, we go back. I think I'd have to pull up the Subspectrum 3 matches. I just have those in like video files. Those aren't on like YouTube or anything, but I could pull those up. And the Subspectrum 4s, I have the live stream on Facebook, so we could pull that up for sure.
Right on.
But we should do that.
Thanks for giving me something to do at 10 o'clock on a Thursday.
Man, thanks for jumping on and also giving me something to do now. I got to put together a kids class for tonight.
All right. Have fun with that.
All right. Yeah. All right, man. Well, it was good talking with you. We'll see you later. Take care.
Peace out. Good to see you, Jordan. Take care.
Yeah, you too.